Today we're going color crazy with our easy breezy square. This square is great for up to 1, 2, 3, or 4 different colors. In a previous tutorial, which you can find the link below, I shared how to make this square using 1 color. But today we're upping our color game and we're going to work the square in 4 colors. Same pattern, just changing colors every round. This pattern is great for using up scrap yarn as it doesn't take very much at all to make 1 square. So all those leftover balls are perfect for this pattern. It's a simple square that works up quick and is great for any number of projects. I have one project in particular that's my favorite. Check the description for the link to that one. So what I'm going to be using today is worsted weight yarn. That's a number 4 on the yarn label. I'm going to use a 5mm hook because that's the one I like with this yarn. It's also suggested on most yarn labels for worsted weight. Pair of scissors and a darning needle. I like this one with a nice rounded tip. So let's get going. So I'm going to start this one with a chain 4. Again, you could use a magic ring if you want to. We're going to make a slip knot. So I just wrap my yarn, loop it over itself, pull that loop down for a pretzel, and pull up this band here, pull it tight to the hook, and that's my slip knot. So we're going to start with a chain 4. And then we're going to join our ring by taking our hook, inserting it into the first loop, and I also go under the back bump just to give myself a more secure join. Make sure I get all the strands of that yarn. There we go. Yarn over and pull through both of those on the hook. That joins my loop. And now I'm going to start my first round. So we start with a chain 3, and this counts as our first double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the center of this loop. So see, it's there. You insert into that. Now I like to work over top of the yarn when I do the chain 4 so that I can cinch up the center. So yarn over, pull through that ring. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That gives you your double crochet. So I technically have 2 because this chain 3 acts as my first one. I need to do 10 more because I need 12 total, including that chain 3. So 10 more double crochet into this ring, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 1. So now we're at the end of round 1, and because I'm changing colors, I could slip stitch join, but when I change colors, I like to do invisible joins, if I can, when I'm joining a stitch to a stitch. So what I need to do here is cut my yarn, my working yarn, about 4 inches. Push that out of the way, pull it through with my hook. So now I've got this gap here I want to close up. Put the yarn on your darning needle. And now we're going to do an invisible join. So you want to take your yarn and you want to imitate this first stitch. So you don't want to go into that 3rd chain. You want to go into the actual first double crochet that you made, which is considered the 2nd stitch. So go under the loops of that double crochet stitch, pull your yarn through gently, and then put it back through where it came out of that last stitch. And again, pull through gently. You don't want them to cross. So what you want it to do is imitate a stitch that looks just like the other stitches over top of that chain 3. So this will now count as your first stitch. So just pull it gently, and then you can just take your darning needle off, and you have completed round 1. And I'm just going to show you here, because I worked over this first yarn all around, I can now cinch it up. So just put your thumb over top of this little hole and your finger on the other side and give it a little pull. And there, I cinched it up. So on the right side, I no longer have that hole. So let's move on to round number 2. I'm going to use my green, my little scrap of green, and I'm going to join it anywhere I want to. That's what I love about working with multiple colors, is now I can join anywhere I want to on this ring. So I'm just going to pick a stitch and go in, and I'm going to pull up a loop, and that is how I join my color. Then I want to chain 1 And I want to work a single crochet in the same stitch that I just joined in. So insert the hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops on hook, wrap the yarn around and pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. And I want to work another one in the same spot. So work a second single crochet into that same spot. And now I have 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and what I want to do is work 2 single crochets in every single stitch around. So we had 12 double crochets, we're going to have 24 single crochets. So continue to work 2 single crochets into each stitch, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 2. And here we are, we've worked 2 single crochet in every stitch around. I've come back to the end, I've worked the last stitch, and now I want to join. So again, I'm going to work an invisible join, because that's what I like to do. So I'm going to cut my yarn, say 4 inches, push that off to the side, pull my yarn through that last stitch. I've got a gap here now. Put the yarn on my darning needle, and then I'm going to work this invisible join over top of my first stitch. So it's going to imitate the first stitch and take its place. So you go into the second stitch under both loops, pull the yarn through, come back into where you came out of in that last stitch, put the yarn through, and then you just gently pull that stitch so it looks just like the other ones. And it is over top of your first stitch. So it replaces your first stitch. You'll still have 24 of them. And now you can't really tell when you look where it was. It's a nice smooth join. So that's the end of round 2. So moving on to round 3. This is kind of the biggie round. This is where we shape our square. So I'm going to use my deeper blue color. And again, I can join anywhere I want. So just pick a stitch, go into it, and we're going to join. So we're going to go ahead and do it the same as the single color version. Sometimes with my colored versions, I like to start in the corners. But in this one, I'll show you how you can do the exact same as the single color, just changing colors. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work into that same stitch and do a single crochet. Then the next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over and pull up 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. The next stitch will be a double crochet. So yarn over, insert into next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and now we're going to do double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your double crochet. Now we're going to work our corner. So our corner is double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in the same stitch. So we do this, into the next stitch, we work a double crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet into that same stitch. Get my yarn out of the way here. And that is our corner. So now we're going to work across the next side of our square by working a double crochet into the next stitch, a half double crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet. And then again a half double crochet into the next stitch, and a double crochet into the next one. And that works across our next side. Now we're back up to our next corner. So you can see we're squaring off our circle here. So double crochet, chain 3, this is our corner, and double crochet into the same stitch. And this creates our corner. So now we have another corner. Now we're going to work across the next side, which is again a double crochet, then a half double crochet, and a single crochet, then another half double crochet, and a double crochet. So you can see we have to work the heights of it so that the circle can now become a square. So we're going to work our next corner, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. My yarn is rolling around here because it's such a small ball. And we have our third corner. So we're working across our top part of our square for the last side. So we'll just do that. Double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. And we're going to work our last corner. Double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet. Now we have 2 stitches left. So we have to do a double crochet and a half double crochet to get to the end of our round. So we finished round 3 and we want to join. Again, I'm going to do an invisible join. You could be doing slip stitch joins for all of these. I just find that they leave a little bit of a nub that you can see. So I love my invisible joins. So I snip the yarn at about 4 inches. I pull it through with my hook and I have a little gap to close up. So I put the yarn on my darning needle. And again, I don't go in the first stitch. I go in the second stitch. Pull the yarn through, go back into where you came out of, and then just pull it so it looks like the rest. So it imitates that first single crochet, and I've already lost it. I think it's right there. Yeah, that's how smooth of a transition it is. So now we've done 3 rounds, and all we have left is the 4th round, and it's all single crochet. So I grab my off-white that I'm going to use, and I join. Now here's where it differs. Because I have a square now, I actually have to be more mindful of where I'm going to join. The circle I could join anywhere. So this round is going to be a little different than if you were doing the solid. If you're doing the solid, you would be going back into the single crochet because it's where you ended. But I'm going to move over to a corner because it's just easier when you're doing colors, when you're joining something. It makes it easier for me to understand where to start and where to end. So we're going to go into this chain 3 space. We're going to pull up a loop, chain 1, and work a single crochet into that chain 3 space. Now we're going to work a single crochet in every one of these stitches across. I think there's 7. Yep. So 7 single crochets across this side of your square, going into each of the stitches till we get to the opposite corner, which has the chain 3 space. And again, these little balls, they rolling all over the place here. So now we're into the next corner. So a corner on this round is going to be a single crochet in the chain 3 space, another chain 3, and then single crochet back into that same chain 3 space, and we've created the corner on this round. So here we are back just like at the beginning, and we're going to do the same thing. So what you do is the 7 single crochets and a corner, which is single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Then you're going to do it again, and then we're going to go across the last 7 single crochet, and I'll meet you to finish this last corner. It's a little bit different. So I'll meet you there. So here we are at our last corner of round 4. And we want to single crochet into the same chain 3 space that we joined in. Then we want to chain 3, but we're not going to do another single crochet because that's how we started, was with a single crochet in this chain 3 space. So here we want to join. And this join I'm actually going to do as a slip stitch join because when I join a chain 1, 2, or 3 to a stitch, that's when I'll do a slip stitch. I find the invisible join gets a little mucky when you're doing a chain. So we go ahead into that first single crochet with our hook, wrap the yarn around and pull it through and pull through the loop on the hook. And now you have a slip stitch join to end our piece. We're going to fasten off our yarn about 4 inches. If you were using that yarn to sew your pieces together, you'd want to make it longer. Now, just a side note, I didn't work any of my ends in as I did this because I was focusing more on the stitch work for you. But usually what I will do is work these ends in, except this one in the center. I usually use that as tying that hole in. But I will work these in with each round. They work in very nicely in this pattern because the stitch is such a solid stitch. And then you don't have to work all those ends in at the end. And there is your multicolor easy breezy square. So I have a really nice little project for this square, so check out the info for that below. Have fun with this, go create with lots and lots of color, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to my channel so you catch all the tutorials as they come out. Thanks for joining me today and enjoy making your easy breezy squares.